Hey guys, this is Master and you're watching KGC. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We usually upload gameplays, clips, highlights and all of this stuff. But today we are going to be building my whole streaming setup, including my PC which is powered by a 5900X and a RTX 3080. And I hope you guys like it. This is my first time doing it. Let me know about the things I should improve on. Maybe everything I should improve on. That's what I should say. Without further ado, let's get started. Roll the intro. So these are all the components you're going to be using, and before we start we're going to need a clean table. Now the regular table you can start, and I'm going to be putting the price of everything on the screen somewhere so you guys will know. Let's ground ourselves, and we can do that by just using our PSU. Just quickly take this out. So we are using an Antec high current gamer HCG 750 plus gold, which comes with a 10-year warranty. So a fully modular power supply that will be just perfect for our system. And our GPU recommends a 750 plus gold power supply. So this will do the job. We'll connect our PSU. Let's finally start building our PC. For that, the first item, the motherboard. We are going to be using a X570 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard. And actually try the Wi-Fi on this one. It's pretty decent, pretty good actually. Put your motherboard on the box it came in. So we are going to set this down first. We're gonna place the CPU, the RAM, and the SSD. Then the rest of the build, we're gonna do it in the cabinet. We are going to be using a Ryzen 9 5900X for our build. Here is the actual processor. So this is the Ryzen 9 5900X. We are going to place it on the motherboard. So the key to watch here is you have a arrow on one of the corners, and you had to align it with the arrow on the motherboard. So pull in the clip on the motherboard, place the processor on top. It should just slide right in. Give it a little wiggle and close the pin. There you're done. You place your processor. For our RAM, we are going to be using the XPG D60G 3600. It's a 16 GB kit. So Ryzen recommends it to be placed in dual channel, as I think all of you guys know. So we'll not put it in the first one. We had to fill the second and the fourth from the CPU. Let's just pull those clips off and place our RAM. I think it goes in this way. Just give it a little push and the clip should pop right in. Alright, now we are going to be installing a SSD. For that, we are going to need a screwdriver. It does come in with a built-in heatsink for the SSD. For our SSD, I'm going to be using the Crucial 1TB P1 drive. It's not the best, but it will get the job done. So this is the SSD. I have already placed the standoff for the SSD on the motherboard. So sometimes you do have to get it out and place it. But mine's already in place. You just push it in and press it. And we're gonna need a screw. This tiny little screw secures your SSD. Let's just get that in. I'm gonna have to change the head for my screwdriver. Yeah, that's in there. Now cover it back with the heatsink. We're going to take the rest of the build inside the case. For the case, we are going to be using Cooler Master MB511 ARGB. There's a non-ARGB version for this, but that does support only 240mm radiator on top. So if you're going to buy this case and using a 360mm radiator on top, be sure you buy the ARGB version, because the non-ARGB version does not have place for a 360 rad up top. Let's just open the case now. So the case is now open. We're gonna set it down to place our motherboard. You need to watch out. Sometimes there are some extra stand-ins here, and beware, they might damage your motherboard. So check the slots on your motherboard, then place the motherboard in, because sometimes they do have extra ones. But I have already checked that, so my motherboard should just slide right in. Perfect. Now let's just start installing the screws. All the screws are done. The motherboard is securely placed inside. These are connected from the front panel to the motherboard. That was a USB we just plugged in. Now we have those reset and power switches. Okay, they're all in finally. I hate doing that. There's our audio, and we are going to have a cable to power the fans on the front. So this is the audio. This goes right here. So this will go right here. All right. We are going to use the CORELIQUID 360R from MSI. Yeah, it's a pretty decent cooler, and the RGB looks sick. But here are the 3 RGB fans that comes with, and a 360mm rad, and this looks sick. Just look at that. So for this one, I think I'm gonna install the block first, because the rad covers a lot of area up top, and we are not gonna have access to the plugs if we place the rad first. So let's just do this first. Yeah, let me just apply some thermal paste to it. I'm going to be applying it on 5 points. I think we should be good. There goes our thermal paste. And now, time to put in this water block. Use the top clip first. Feel it. Go. All right. Then clip the bottom one. All right. Now let's just tighten them a bit by hand. Then we'll use our screwdriver for the rest. Now that we have placed the radiator on top, first outward-wise, first put in the screws at the edges, all the edges. Then it gets so much easier. Then the rest of the screws are just easy, because the edge screws hold it really well. Now that our radiator is done, I think we should install the power supply now. This is our power supply, and this cable goes into the motherboard. This side goes into the PSU, and this side into motherboard. Now I have two of those cables because we're going to use a 3080. This is where my microphone died and I didn't figure it out until after I saw the footage in Premiere Pro. I'm sorry for that, but I'm still gonna explain everything I do. Right now I'm plugging in all the cables to the PSU. That includes the motherboard connector, the two 8-pin connectors for our graphics card, and the connector for our CPU. You don't see the connector for the CPU because we already plugged it into the motherboard right before we install the RAD, because we wouldn't be able to do that after installing the RAD because there would be no space left, so we did it before. We need to put the PSU inside the cabinet and route all the cables. Now we need to install the 24-pin connector to the motherboard. Let's secure our power supply with the screws. And we're almost done. All that's left is the GPU, and let's unbox it and install it into the PC. Let's unbox the RTX 3080 Founders Edition. I got this card yesterday. I didn't wait for the courier to get it to me. I went to their office in my city and got the card for them because I was so excited and pumped about this card. I got a little lucky with this card because I got this card at MSRP, which sounds quite impossible, and that for a 3082. I had inquired about this card about a year ago in November or December 2020 and totally forgot about it. Wasn't expecting a mail, wasn't expecting anything. I was looking for an email on my account and saw that I had an email from RP Tech asking me if I wanted to buy a 3080 at MSRP because I had inquired about it about a year ago, and that's how I got the card. The card comes with a cable that splits it into two 8-pins. Let's insert the card into our motherboard. Just align it with the PCIe slot and push it in. Let's put the screws in place and disconnect the dual 8-pin connectors to the connectors from the PSU, and we're done. This is the last step before we can turn the computer on. All we have to do is wire all the fans to their power connectors and wire all the ARGB in the case, feed the fans and the water block so that they can all be controlled by the motherboard. This part of building a PC is no fun, and don't mind my keyboard management. I'm using the speech for myself and I keep on making changes, so this wiring will do. The moment of truth. Let's turn this PC on. It works, thank God, and it was on the first try too. Now let's take this to my room and build my gaming plus streaming setup. The mousepad I use on my setup is the Razer Gigantus V2 XXL. I love everything about this mousepad except for one thing, that it always looks dirty. Right now, I cleaned it just right now and it still looks dirty. But when it comes to performance, I have to say I have no complaints. The mouse runs smooth on it. The keyboard I'm using right now is the Gamdius Hermes E3 with the blue switches. It is a 60% keyboard and it comes with a detachable Type-C USB card, and for the price it comes at, coming with a detachable USB cable is a bonus. This piece of equipment is outdated. I recorded this video yesterday and today my G Pro Wireless was delivered, so currently I'm using the G Pro Wireless. I no longer use the G502, and I'll have a clip inserted of my new mouse right now, and let me tell you, I already love it. I was a little bit worried when I first ordered it because I have always used a heavy mouse. First the G400S I guess it was, then the G402, and then the G502, all Logitech. So switching to a mouse with the lower weight, I was not sure about it, but now that I've used it I can say it's not gonna be an issue. For the primary monitor I game on, I use the Zowie BenQ XL 2546K with a 240Hz 24-inch display. It's not an IPS monitor, and panel. For a gamer like me who enjoys playing Valorant and CSGO the most, I would say it is definitely worth the money. For my secondary monitor, I use the Amazon Basic stand because I had to keep the monitor vertically mounted. I use it to read, to chat, and to manage Discord, that's all. And the monitor cost me like 20 bucks, I guess. It's $20. You can get the monitor just like that. You don't have to spend a lot on the secondary monitor. The microphone I use on my stream is the Fifine T669 Condenser USB microphone. It was recommended to me by a friend, and it cost me around 50 bucks for the stand, the mic, and the filter, and which I think is a pretty good deal. And the microphone even sounds decent. This is probably one of my favorite things on the setup, the Razer BlackShark V2. I absolutely love those headphones. They are so comfortable, I don't even feel them when I wear them, and plus they look good, they sound good, and they come in with a detachable microphone. I don't use that because I have an external mic. The last thing on the setup, the Nikon D5300, which I use as a webcam for my streams. So there it is. That was everything I use on my setup. Before I end the video, let's turn the lights off and see how the setup looks.